Hello everyone. So today I'm just going to be doing a sketchbook tour. So this is about the third time I tried to do this video, and I'm hoping third time's the charm. But there's the couple of times I spilt water, and I did a video the other day and sketchbook tour, and I was really happy with the commentary. I was really happy with what I said and how I explained my art. And the video was like for 30 minutes. It was 30 minutes long. It wasn't a short video. Um, And then I went to edit and look at it to find out none of the sketchbook was in frame. So that was a disappointment. So anyway, hopefully this time that doesn't happen. So this is my sketchbook. Unfortunately, the front cover's got a couple of stains where I had spilt water out of the glass that I used to dip my paintbrushes into. So that's a bit messy. The back's a little cleaner, but the front has had a few catastrophes. So this is the 300 GSM Speedball watercolour journal. So this started off, I want to say around November-ish maybe, and then it went into sort of December, but the late November to December run-up was an awful time for me. Going into Christmas was horrible. I had an awful Christmas, unfortunately, and New Year was terrible, was even worse. So I think this sketchbook basically got me through a hard time, got me through a difficult time. So I'm going to start with the first page. So that's just a butterfly stamp that I bought. There's going to be a lot of pages scattered throughout the sketchbook with random stamps. I became a little bit obsessed with them. So the first painting here, as you can see, is a rainy city landscape. I don't really paint cities often, but I really love how this one turned out. I think it was also the first time I tried to be a bit more confident in dropping colour into wet and wet, like underpainting. So this bit here was underpainted, and then this bit of the umbrella here was, and like the headlight shine. And I really like how it turned out, and I did like the glow that I got on the windows. So I really did love how this turned out, and I would love to paint it again. Maybe not the exact same painting, but maybe something similar. So I keep taking my camera. I'm making sure I'm in frame. So here is a gouache painting. So that was turned into a short on my channel if you're interested in watching, and this was the Himi gouache. This was I think I'd had them for like a month, or maybe 2 weeks. I had them for 2 weeks, and I'd done some other paintings later on in the sketchbook that I'd painted first, because I tend to fill this page, fill that page, leave this one blank. I don't, go 1, 2 in order, and I don't know why. I really don't. And that's that squash. I was really proud. I really like how this turned out. Unfortunately, I didn't capture the shine as much as I wanted, like the coppery effect. And someone on Cara did actually mention it might be because this is so bright of an orange, and then I used a bright blue. And it was funny because I actually tried to use the blue to tone down the orange I'd originally used, but I'm not sure that helped. And then these two I'm really proud of, and they're just fruit. So I've got an orange here, also in gouache, and then an apple, and then I just felt like painting the background black, and it made them pop a little bit more. The highlights stand out as well. So this painting here is on my channel. So this is when I got my new camera. It's the camera I'm recording with now, that I record with all the time, is a better quality. It's got higher resolution. So this was the first video I did where it looked nicer. Because there's a painting further on where I did with gouache that is on my channel with the new camera, and it didn't look any better than the other camera I was recording with, and I was really sad because I thought to myself, oh, I've just bought this new camera and it doesn't do anything different. But this is when I fiddled around with the settings and I figured out how to do it, so that made me happy. And then these were just with my circular circular template. It has a name. It's like a stencil, but you draw around circles. It does have a name, and I've said it before, and I can't remember. So a couple of these pages were paintings that I did in watercolour to stockpile for December. I wanted to get a bunch of videos ready for December, so I had tons to upload. Unfortunately, these were back when my camera was still grainy and I was having some sound troubles, and I think also sometimes I go to turn on my camera and I go to paint and sometimes I just make a mistake, like sometimes I'll record it upside down. But I do really love how the sunset turned out here, and I do like this tree. I think this was just done in the tree itself. I think it was done in pencil, coloured pencil. And on this side, I like how this one turned out as well, but I like this one more. This one I didn't really like because, as you can see, these snowflakes are grey, and I didn't realise that the acrylic pen I was using had a bit of other colour on the nib, so it ended up making them grey, and I didn't really like that. And I messed up the drawing of the birds in the background. But I should always say something nice about it. I really do love how the tree silhouette in the bushes at the background looks. So here's some more two paintings that were going to be for my December video stockpile that unfortunately didn't get shown either. I remember painting this one for a video, and it was such a shame because I loved how it turned out, because I wet the scarf and the hat, all of it, and then you just do the dark one around the edges and it gives this frosty effect that I was really proud of. This one here I'm not keen on. It's not a favourite, but at the same time, oh, I forgot to talk about the pencil mark. At the same time, I don't hate it or dislike it. It's just, to me, it feels like there's so much going on, but at the same time not enough. But at the same time, it might be the maybe it's the river, the frozen lake. I don't know. And then here's another one for the stockpile. This is a pine cone. So what I did for this one, I didn't do an in-depth pine cone. I just did a general shape and then wet all of it and then just used my paintbrush like this, and that was really fun to do. So this is one of those pages where I almost finished the whole sketchbook and then I came back to fill in this page. So I just did a background because I think there's a drawing under here that I didn't like. But I just went back and put these two gouache paintings in, and if you look, they're shiny, and that's because I put Mod Podge over the top of them. So the paper, these two gouache paintings actually came from this sketchbook, and this is a very old sketchbook. At the moment, unfortunately, it's kind of a throwaway sketchbook now, but I didn't want to waste it and just chuck it. It's just, I don't know, it felt strange. I don't think I could start working in an old sketchbook from years ago because, I don't know, it feels outdated. So anyway, so the paper was actually really nice for the gouache and it worked really well, and I was really proud of this one. And unfortunately, it was a two spread, but the paper ripped when I was trying to take it out to stick it in. And I remember I was watching TV just doodling this. It wasn't intentional, it just turned out so nice. So these two, I think, are probably my ultimate favourite in the entire sketchbook. I love these paintings so much. They were so fun to paint and they turned out so lovely, which I don't always say about my paintings. So this one here is my favourite. I really do like this one. I wish I knew how to turn it into a print. I would love to turn it into a print. I don't know how I'd do that, and I don't actually have any means of selling any of my artwork. I just paint and make videos for fun, I guess. But I would have to turn this into a print even if it was just for me. So that's a shame about when I put the tape on, it leaked a little bit. So I love this painting as well. It was just so much fun, and I did the backgrounds so they kind of matched. They don't match exactly, but they're like a set, and I thought they were really pretty. One thing I do regret though is I tried to add a bit of shading to the snow on the branches, and I wish I'd just left them white. Might have made it stand out a bit more. Another stockpile video. Now I can't remember why I scrapped this video. I can't remember, but I do absolutely love the hue around the candle that I managed to capture. I think that's really fun. That was really cool to do. And then on this side, this painting I don't like. This painting was a bit of a struggle. It was meant to be a stockpile video. As you can see, it's obviously a Christmas bauble. I tried to do it in gold ink and I made a mistake, so I had to get a tissue and wipe it up, and then it kind of turned into a disaster. So then I did watercolour on top of it, and then I did an imprint of the same bauble. If you can just see little shiny bits there. So there's still a bit of ink in it. So yeah, this one was a bit of a struggle. So this is a stockpile video and it is on my channel, and I really love the dark background. I like the almost black with the orange around the middle. That was really fun to paint. And they're both, I can't say which one I like better because I prefer the darker background to the blue, but on this candle I like the hue more than I captured on this one. So on this side, this was just when I'd first bought some washi tape. I don't think I've ever owned any before. I've always wanted to, but I haven't. But I bought myself some, and then I just sort of podged it on top, and then added some coppery type flakes. And then these are just stamps. Kingfisher, little. They're not sticky notes, but they're just like pieces of paper, and they just come from this. Look how cute that is. So I just thought I'd stick that in there. I think these pages are the ones I hate. And hate's a strong word, but I don't know. I really dislike it. This painting here I had so many images in my mind of how it was going to turn out. This was not what it was supposed to look like. And the downside of it was, it wasn't even fun to paint. I wasn't having a fun time. But I do like the glows around the baubles. I think I might have been using masking fluid. I just bought some masking fluid and I think I was trying to master it. And I think when I did the tree, I just did too much of it. And then on this side, I do like the lights themselves. I do like the glow and the snow on the wire. And so the background, oh, I don't know what my voice did there. The background itself I do like, because I do like how I've managed to get each colour matching the bulb itself, but at the same time it's a bit muddy. And then down here I tried to section a corner off and then try and make it better by doing it in gouache, and as you can see it's not better, it's worse. There's no highlight and I struggled so hard to get a hue around that bulb, and as you can see I didn't manage it. I failed. So this is one of my stamp pages. So I just used one of the tons of ink pads that I had to just colour the green and yellow, and then I was just playing around with all my stamps, and they're all so pretty and I can't wait to think of a way to use them into my art. So yeah, the butterflies are really cool. And that was one that I had that's quite old. I've had this stamp for ages, but I didn't have one of those blocks. And I finally went to a shop that had a block, and because they're like silicone, they stick to it. So that made me really happy. I finally found one so I could use some of my old stamps. And then I don't know, I can't even say which one's my favourite because I like all the designs. So this is a watercolour painting of some rocks. I think I was just doing a rock study. As you can see, it was a bit back, not ages ago, but a while ago. And at the bottom, this is also Himi gouache again. That is also from my poor busted up sketchbook, which isn't going to waste, but it's just not being drawn in, if that makes sense. So yeah, I just tried to do some northern lights. I thought it was kind of cute. I think it's kind of sweet. I do like the glow I managed to capture. Although if you see here, when I put this, glued this in, I think I got some glue over some leftover pencil from a drawing underneath, and I cannot rub it out. I've tried, it just doesn't rub out anymore. So this was a gouache practice. This is also on my channel. This is the first video. Oh, bit of glitter there. This is the video that I was just talking about at the start, where I got this better camera and it didn't look any better until I played around with the settings. So this is just practice. I've just got some trees and some foliage with a rock, a little tree here, some bushes, an attempt of a little landscape. I've got better since this painting, although it's not awful, but I'm not a big fan of the tree. There's not enough colour hues in it. It just looks very flat. Here we go. So these two paintings are with Himi gouache, and they are paintings on the very first day that I got them. So I took all the lids off and everything, although it's probably better if you don't pull off them completely, but I did. And these are my paintings, and I've improved, I would say, but I really do still like this one. I do like that one. I like the sunset, the clouds. I don't know. The orange on top of the clouds, I could have done with maybe a bit more blending and a bit more time, but never mind. And then on this side I have a ink pen, yes, a fountain pen, and then what I do is, it's a technique I love to do. I draw whatever I'd want to draw, and then I just get watercolour the way I normally would, and it gives off this very cool effect. And if you leave the ink longer before you add your watercolour to it, you get less of an effect, so it's really fun to play around with. And then down here I've just got another landscape in gouache, but this was done I'd say probably a couple of months, maybe a month maybe after these, and you can tell a bit of difference. You can see a bit of improvement, although I'd say obviously this has less going on. It's kind of a flat landscape. So this side was YouTube shorts that I did. They're just little gouache doodles really. I just wanted to do a little short video and have fun playing around with gouache. This one here was the first time I did a dark background and then put lighter colours on top. First time I tried it. Because obviously when you go onto YouTube, you see so many people do those beautiful landscapes and stuff, but they do a darker background and then they do a bright green on top and it looks amazing. When I first started doing gouache, before I got the Himi gouache set, I had a really cheaper one and they were really bad. It didn't do any of that. They didn't layer on top. They just sort of smudged and made a great big mess, and I was really disappointed, and it put me off gouache for a while because I don't know. There's always like a debate. Do you go for the more expensive stuff straight away, or do you go for the cheaper to test whether you like it? Because when I first tried watercolor, I tried cheaper watercolor, and as you can imagine, the effects weren't that good as better watercolor. Yet I still enjoyed it, and it still made me want to try better watercolors as I improved. So I guess you can still tell. You can still probably tell whether that medium's for you, because with acrylic, no matter what brand I try, I really, really, really detest acrylic. I admire people who can paint with acrylic. It's a lovely medium. I cannot do it. I have tried. So sorry, little side ramble there. So I was very happy with the results. So on this side was a watercolour painting that is on my YouTube channel, if you're interested in watching it. I called it a failed painting. In all honesty, it's not that bad. It's not awful. It could have turned out worse, but I wasn't happy with it because I made the background a bit too dark before I worked on the green leaves. So it was obviously with watercolour, it's hard to paint a lighter colour on top of dark, and I didn't take that into consideration, unfortunately. And then also the snowdrops themselves, you can't really see them. I tried everything. I tried an acrylic marker on top of them to make them pop a bit more. It didn't work. So then I did another video on a short. I did a short video where I tried to use colouring pencils to kind of fix it. I do like it a lot more than what it originally looked like, but it's still not brilliant. Yeah, this was I don't know, a page that I'm indifferent about. I'm pretty indifferent. The clownfish, this is all in gouache, so the clownfish was a struggle. I wanted to paint a clownfish, but I'd done the gouache layers so thick that by the time I was done, it ended up just making this muddy colour, and it's quite a brown, and I didn't get all the details that I wanted. And then, obviously, I mentioned that I loved this painting. I absolutely love how this turned out and how free it feels while still looking like lily pads. I tried to replicate it, and funny enough, when I was trying to paint well, it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. It looks very flat. I didn't get the same colours. I did not get the same look. And then so I just added a little frog in the corner in gouache as well. And the bubbles were done in acrylic marker. Yeah, and this is just swatch when I bought some new shiny metallic paints. So this page is just thumbnailing. Something I don't always do, but I wanted to do my very first official watercolour tutorial, and I say my first, it's not really. I do have another watercolour up on my channel that I've been debating deleting for ages because it's just so bad. I had a couple of comments where they're like, oh, I could understand it. It's just, still wasn't very good at actually doing videos or editing back then, and it's terrible. So these were just my ideas, and I ended up settling on this painting here. And I wrote down the colours just so I remembered what I'd used, and I'd only used 3. And then that was not the finished piece. Obviously that's not the finished tutorial because I haven't actually uploaded it yet because I wanted to write a script. But that's that painting, so I had a bigger practice compared to that one. And then I was going to do a gouache version just for myself, but I didn't finish it, so it's half a painting. These were the same metallic watercolours as the clownfish page, just bigger. And then these were glitter pens. And unfortunately, this glitter pen, when I closed it, smudged. So this is just watercolour, a watercolour misty forest kind of painting. And then just that gold. These are my 2 favourite colours in that set. Another stamp page, as you can see, an obsession with butterflies. And then this one down here, I just sort of coloured it in with Faber-Castell Polychromo colouring pencils, and then did watercolour in the background. This is a particular favourite painting of mine. This is top favourites along with the Robin painting at the start of the sketchbook. It's on my channel if you want to watch me paint it. It was just spontaneous. Spontaneous painting, and ended up really nice, and I had so much fun painting this. And just like the foliage and the rock ended up being really good. Ended up being a very good happy accident. And then the sunlight peeking through the trees was Faber-Castell Polychroma pencils again. I'm trying to incorporate them more into my work. I really like how they feel, so I've started a new sketchbook which I'll show you at the end. And I've started to try and use them a lot more. So yeah, so that is that. This is just another stamp page, and this time I bought some stamps with, obviously, as you can see, it's lettering, you know, best wishes, thank you. Sometimes there are no words, you know, with love, hugs and kisses, with sympathy and all that kind of stuff, and then some more butterflies. And on this side I bought some metallic ink stamps. And look how shiny they are against the black. They're so pretty. I mean, especially the silver and the gold. I mean, the rest, I don't want to say the rest of them are dull, but those are really shiny. And then, I don't know if you could see them, but then I also tried the metallic gold and silver on a whitish background. This page here, I don't really know how to explain. If you look carefully, you can see I've tried to do a bit of ink doodling, but I didn't get round to it. And I think this is just sort of metallic watercolour. It's just sort of shiny. I think this might have just been a venting page. I just wanted to make a mess. So these 2 are ink, my Beryl ink pen and watercolour. Not watercolour, just water. Just water. It's on my channel if you want to watch the process. Both paintings were done in that video. I don't know, do you call it a painting or a drawing? Because it was done with a pen, but a paintbrush was used with it. Tell me what you think. So yeah, so this one was this was a stencil. I bought a stencil set from a kids box set, funnily enough. But there were so many things in those stencils that I would use in my art that it didn't bother me. So this was one of them, and then obviously there's stamps again, and then I used some gold ink. And then on this side I tried to demonstrate a more looser side of trying this technique, and you can see that they're flowers but not too much, it's just more abstract. This I was watching a lot of people doing like art journaling, and I've tried art journaling in the past and it didn't last. So I just thought I'd try to do some art journal. I was inspired after watching so many videos. I thought I'd try do one in my sketchbook. Only problem is I'm not a crafty person. I'm not a person who can cut really neatly, glue in really neatly without making a mess. So as you can see, that's why, you know, they kind of crinkled, and I probably used the wrong glue and that kind of stuff, but it was a fun page. These bits were from a colouring book, and I just painted them and tried to colour them in. And it's shiny because I did some Mod Podge. I smudged the ink stamp, and just everything. It's just yeah, I'm sure there's someone out there who might like it. So this painting is from Fallout 4. I was doing a landscape study from the game. It's one of my favourite games, so I wanted to paint it, and it's Himi gouache. So objectively, I know this painting technically isn't good. It's missing a lot of depth, a lot of colour. Again, it looks very flat, and that is one thing I'm trying to get better at with gouache, is trying to not paint flat and get more tones and dimension into it. But although this painting isn't really that good, I actually really like it. I do really enjoy how I got the city in the background, but it's shiny because I sealed it with Mod Podge just because I wanted to experiment, and I wanted to see whether it would seal it. It did smudge though, unfortunately. You can see there's a red sort of smear going on, so I guess it did seal it, but not really. This is just a hello. My dog's in the background. He's always here. So if you hear him in the background, that's what he's doing. Oh, he's having a nap now. Never mind. He just decided to get up and have a nap in a different place. So this is a doodle page. This was just inks that I was just comparing, because these are roller. I always say it wrong. But and this is Winsor Newton. I was just testing the difference, and I like these ones maybe a little bit more because of the way that they have little glitter. Looks like they've got little glitter specks in them, whereas these ones are shiny but matte. But I like them both for different reasons, and you can't really see this one, but this colour here is a pearlescent one, and I think it would be better against black paper. So this was a doodle page. Not too much to say about it really. I just got a snail. Not my best drawn snail actually. Worm. Speakers. The rest of them were sort of stencils. That was a stencil outline there, just doodled inside the butterfly. Yeah, just a doodle page. Ugh, acrylic. I wasn't trying to paint anything here. This was a venting page. I was just having fun with supplies and just getting some colour and mushing it all about, and it's not good. I don't know, it's not that pretty. Although I like the colours, they've just added some glitter in there. That one's got metallic paint. I like this page. So this is a jewel beetle, and this was done with alcohol markers. And then this was me just testing all the colours that I thought might go for the illustration. These were the colours that actually made the cut, and that's just what colours I was, what brand of alcohol marker I was using. It had been a long time since I'd used alcohol markers, and I forgot how much blending it actually took to get it. But I don't know, it takes a long time, but I find it satisfying. So, and then that was gold ink in the background. This bit stressed me out because I had to do so many layers, and I was so worried that I'd ruined the whole illustration because I couldn't get the background to be just a matte gold shiny finish. And I thought I should have just painted the background black or left it white, but in the end I stuck with it, and I think it looks nice. It's very shiny, this page here. So this is just an old ink drawing landscape that again came out of the Art Talon's creation book, sketchbook, that I don't use, that, and I really liked this one. There's plenty of other drawings in there that I like, but I just thought I'd stick this one in. This is a Imi gouache sketch, I guess, a painting sketch. There's just some foliage there, a tree. This is just the water, and then I tried to get some reflections, if you can see, and then just some white for some highlights in the water. There was supposed to be some lily pads here, but they got a little lost. They got a little smudged, so I didn't redefine them afterwards. Another random venting page, although I did try to make some flowers, just did a background, and then a stenciled butterfly. I can't really say too much about it. And then here I've just got a barrel roll, again, ink pen illustration just of a flower. And I just did this because I wanted to try and get the petals at different angles, if you can see there. This side was just a mountain doodle. I think by this time I was so ready for the sketchbook to be finished, because it was kind of a sad feeling, because I was sad to be finishing it, happy to be finishing it, because excited to start a new sketchbook. So, I don't know. Ooh. This page I'm really quite proud of. So this is a space magazine that I read, and then once I finish reading it, I tend to try and make art out of it rather than just recycling it. And this is what I did. So it's just Mod Podge in the background, Mod Podge in the background, Mod Podge on top of it to seal it. There's a galaxy in the background, so yeah, so if it's just a little shiny. So yeah, I enjoyed doing this. So this mountain was a separate piece, the background was. I cut round this station here, this planet, and then scope. Like I said, I'm not that good at neat cutting, so I was really proud of that. And then this side I just tried to do something that matched, which was just a simple sky and little forest and water reflection painting. Just a night sky. Oh, so this painting here was supposed to be for a short, and I messed it up. Originally, the background had a Northern Lights feel with watercolour, and it was really pretty. I was really happy with it, and it's such a shame I messed it up, because it would have been nice for you to have seen it, because I really liked it. And then I went too far and I messed it up, and then I tried to do a misty forest, and then that failed, and then I put this at the front to try and salvage it with the metallics. That didn't work. I tried to add the moon in the hope to saving it. That didn't work. So I just left it as it was and put "don't give up," which was ironic because all the way through this painting, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to give up. So on this page, I also managed to again get some grey or black or whatever colour on my white acrylic pen nib. So obviously, you know, when you shake it, and I was dabbing it, and obviously this was the grey coming off of it. I could have painted something over this page with gouache or something, but because that had been such a traumatic painting, I gave myself a break and just left that blank. So yeah, I mean, it wasn't that dramatic, but you know. And then this was my last painting, just a doodle. I just did some random swirls with different tones of blue, added a bit of gold, and then did a shell on top of it. So that was that really. I have not too much else I can say about that. So that was my whole sketchbook. Yeah, I don't know how long I have been rambling. It feels like ages. It's probably also, oh, 34 minutes. Whoa. Oh, if you're still here, wow. If you're still here, thank you, you know. So anyway, so that is that sketchbook. So I started a new one. So I painted this front cover, and that video will be up probably maybe a week after, a couple of days after this video goes up, so you can see me paint it. But I was just want to show it off now because I was really happy with how this turned out, and it's gouache. And you can then watch that video if you're interested in seeing the process. So anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Feel free to leave me a comment or a like or subscribe if you're like hearing me ramble for 34 minutes. Anyway, okay, right, I'm gonna go now. Bye.